receptionist down a wide, plush-carpeted hallway to Evan's office. His name was on the door, engraved on a gold plate. The receptionist ushered her in and left. Mary Jo recognized Evan's personal assistant immediately, although they'd never met. Mrs. Sterling was exactly the way he'd described her. Late middle age, short and slim, with the energy of a Tasmanian devil, formidably efficient. He'd claimed the woman could easily reorganize the world if she had to, and that she'd willingly take on any project he asked of her. She was loyal to a fault. "Evan asked me to send you right in," Mrs. Sterling said, leading her to the closed inner door. She opened it, then asked, "Can I get you a cup of coffee?" Her tone was friendly but unmistakably curious. "No, thank you." Mary Jo stepped over the threshold, her heart in her throat. She wondered how she'd feel seeing Evan again after all this time. She'd already decided that a facade was necessary. She planned to approach him as if they were long-lost friends, casual friends. With a smile, she'd shake his hand, inquire about Jessica, and catch up on events in his life. Now that there were only a few feet between her and the man she loved, Mary Jo found she couldn't move, could barely even breathe. Nothing could have prepared her for the force of these emotions. Within seconds, she was drowning in feelings she didn't know how to handle. She felt swamped and panicky, as if she were going down for the third time. She conjured up Gary's face, the man she'd dated off and on for the past few months, but that didn't help. Next, she struggled to come up with some clever comment, some joke, anything. Instead, all she could remember was that the man she'd loved 3 years ago, loved now, was married to someone else. Evan sat at his desk, writing. Only now did he look up. Their eyes met, and for the briefest moment he seemed to experience the same sense of loss and regret she was feeling. He blinked, and the emotion disappeared, wiped out with a mere movement of his eyes. "Hello, Evan," she said, amazed at how offhand she sounded. "I imagine it's a surprise to see me after all this time." He stood and extended his hand for a perfunctory shake, and when he spoke, his voice was crisp and professional. "Mary Jo, it's great to see you." Mary Jo nearly laughed out loud. Evan never did know how to tell a good lie. He was anything but pleased to see her again. He motioned toward the chair on the other side of his desk. "Sit down." She did, gratefully, uncertain how much longer her knees would support her. She set her purse on the carpet and waited for her heart rate to return to normal before she told him the purpose of her visit. "Did Mary offer you a cup of coffee?" "Yes, I'm fine, thank you," she said hurriedly. Her hands were trembling. Evan sat down again and waited. "I guess you're wondering why I'm here." He leaned back in his chair, looking cool and composed. It had been 3 long years since she'd seen him. He hadn't changed, at least not outwardly. He remained one of the handsomest men she'd ever seen. His hair was as dark as his eyes, the color of rich Swiss chocolate. His features were well-defined, almost chiseled, but that was too harsh a word for the finely cut yet pronounced lines of his face. Walter Dryden, Evan's father, was a Massachusetts senator, and it was commonly accepted that Evan would one day enter politics himself. He certainly had the smooth, clean-cut good looks for such a calling. What had made him fall in love with Mary Jo? She'd always wondered, always been fascinated by that question. She suspected it had to do with being different from the other women he dated. She'd amused him, hadn't taken him too seriously, made him laugh. "You have something you wanted to discuss with me?" he prompted, his tone revealing the slightest hint of irritation. "Yes, sorry," she said, quickly returning her attention to the matter at hand. "My parents, actually my father, he retired not long ago," she said, rushing the words together, "and he invested his savings with a financial company, Addison Investments. Have you ever heard of the firm?" "No, I can't say I have." This didn't surprise Mary Jo. Wealthy men like Evan had huge financial portfolios with varied and multiple investments. Her father had taken his life savings and entrusted it to a man he'd met and trusted completely. "Dad invested everything he had with the company," she continued. "According to the terms of the agreement, he was to receive..."